In the 1990s, a psychology researcher named Anders Ericsson popularized a concept you might have heard, the 10,000 hour rule. The idea was that with enough practice, anyone could achieve mastery. But as far more data came in, another layer emerged. It wasn't just how much you practiced, it was how you practiced. Athletes who entered a deep state of mental absorption where time faded and focus locked in improved faster and more permanently. That state that they were in, it's what we now know as flow state. We often chase greatness by trying to think more, plan more, control more, but the best performances and the best training actually comes from when we think less. But how do we actually get into that state on purpose? When you watch someone like Nathan McKinnon or Connor McDavid, it almost looks unfair. The speed, the timing, the instincts. But what's really happening isn't emotion or conscious thought. It's something deeper. They're not reacting. They're flowing. You don't see emotion on their face because their entire system is absorbed into the task. No thinking, no hesitation, just full immersion in the moment. In that level of performance where the game slows down, decisions happen automatically, and you feel untouchable, it's not luck or genetics, it's flow state. And flow state can be learned. You can develop the ability to get into flow state more consistently. And it's something even the best players like McDavid chase, and they set entire pre-game, pre-practice, and pre-train routines around it. And the reason for this is because flow, or being in the zone, is more than just a feeling. It's a neurological state. And when you hit it, it's like your brain and body operate as one, and you become the player you've trained yourself to be. And here's the thing, most players think that flow is being hyped up or emotional, when in reality, it's the exact opposite. Emotions like anger or excitement can actually knock you out of flow by pulling your attention away from the task. And this is something I work with all my players on, is understanding what is the state that you're in going into a game, and what state do you know you need to be in. This is different for every player, but when you can discover what state is actually holding you back, it makes a massive, massive difference. So you need to figure out, what exactly is it that I'm feeling right now? And is this actually fueling me and allowing me to relax and center into the moment? Or is it actually pulling me out because I'm worrying about other people? I'm worrying about this. I'm angry about something that's external. Being able to zoom into what is happening is the key. And if you want to go even deeper on flow after this video, you can actually click below. I have a full video that's 17 minutes long that goes in depth about the neuroscience behind flow, how it works, and then I also have a pre-game routine of how you can better get into flow. Now, the key to entering flow state more often is to understand that distraction is what really kills flow. So you need to learn how to remove distractions going into a game and just in any situation. A lot of people think that they need to add more detail to whatever they're doing. They need to get more complicated with their training. They need to add in all these extra steps and routines before the game. But the key is to create consistency. The key is to do things that get you into the right brain state, just like doing something like juggling or bouncing a ball off the wall before a game and getting into a rhythm, allowing your brain to settle in. The problem can happen when we're on our phone before the game, or we're scrolling Instagram 2 hours out. It's when we're doing things that get us emotional. We're doing things that aren't actually going to allow us to focus in. And so the key before a game is to really focus on, okay, how can I center my brain down? This is why I recommend doing things like meditation beforehand. You can ask yourself, what do I want to do, and think forward. So you can do some meditation and then visualization. So you can see, okay, what do I want to execute? This can help program your mind. And then you can also put on music or something that allows you to routinely get into the right state. I recommend listening to a similar playlist every single game. Ideally, it's just start to finish the same so that your brain is consistently getting into the state you want to get into. Now, once you've gotten into flow, during the game itself, we want to stay in flow. So the first core thing is that staying in flow requires you being good. So all of the preparation you do before the game, both mentally to practice focus, to practice confidence, to practice the skills you want to have physically, that has to be done. You can't avoid that. There's no shortcuts there. But then once you have that, the key is to, before every shift, set a clear intention of what you want to do, and then let it go, relax into the moment, react and flow. And you can also have an affirmation that you repeat to yourself to keep your kind of egoic mind, or that voice in your head, kind of quiet, or at least distracted while you play. So I like to have players pick 1, 2, or 3 words that they repetitively say to themselves just over and over again. This allows them to get their head out of the game and allows their instincts to just consistently take over. So you can simply just have a word like focus, and you just say focus, 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 and you're just flowing during the shift. Because what your voice in your head wants to do, which I call the egoic mind, is it's trying to jump into the game. But the problem is that gets in the way of your instincts actually playing. So that's the problem players have, is that they think that trying to think more is the solution. solution, but it's actually to get your thinking part of your head to get out of the way. And this is actually something called transient hypoprontality that happens when we get into flow, where basically that front part of our brain shuts down and allows us to be able to not think about ourselves. We forget about who we are and we just fully settle into whatever we're doing at that moment, which would make sense why that would be a good thing, because it means that we're going to be so connected to what's happening that we react the fastest we possibly can. The second that voice comes in, it is going to screw that up. It's going to try to interrupt that connection, and it is a distraction. The thoughts in our head are not going to help us. So that's why we need to consistently do the thought right before we go out for the shift. Say, okay, here's what I want to do. Here's what I'm going to focus on. Set an intention. Let it go. Have a mantra you say to yourself, or a power word you say to yourself. 1, 2, or 3 core words. Say them repetitively. You can also pick a song if you want. You can have a beat that you say like da 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 da, and you just repeat that over and over in your head. Again, it works. It sounds crazy, but try it and see how it plays out. Now, all of this is awesome and these are great techniques, but none of this is going to work if you don't have this next core foundation that I'm about to share. And that foundation is love and curiosity. Now, let me explain what I mean. So when you go into a game, if you feel this feeling of love, like I get to do this, I'm excited to do this, this is fun, you do it in a playful way. You stop doing it to accomplish something, which allows that egoic voice, that voice in your head, to drift away. It allows it to kind of step aside because you're doing this to be playful, to be joyful, to have fun with it. And at the end of the day, if hockey's not fun, then why bother, right? And so that's why learning to master your mental game allows you to get into the moment, to have fun, to appreciate it, to be joyful. And then that allows flow to unlock faster and faster. Now, the next piece to this, and you'll see this with little kids, is you also want to have curiosity. So you have that fun and joy, but you also have curiosity. You're kind of leaning into the moment and saying, ooh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And you're kind of almost doing things to try it. You're not trying to score. You're testing it out. You're seeing what happens. You're not trying to force it. So this is the fun part. This is the curious part. And when you can really bring this into your game, it allows the rest of the routines to work. But if you do all these techniques and these routines, but fundamentally you don't love it, you're not curious and excited about it, then all that stuff falls out of the way. So you can think of these core things, the love and the curiosity, as the foundation. And then you can think of all the techniques we laid out as basically the things we build on top to drive us further and further into a more optimal flow state. And if you stack all that stuff together, you will be having the most fun, you'll be the most confident, and you'll be the best player on the ice, assuming that you have the skill to do it. Of course, all of this is contingent upon you need to have the skill to do it. So don't forget that. Do the work. That's why in all our programs, we first start with having players actually dial in their training system, make sure they have amazing routines for preparation. They're getting the absolute most out of themselves. Then once they have that all set up, all of the mental tools become the thing that allows them to unlock their ability. You got to have the ability, and then the mental game squeezes every little bit of juice you can possibly get out of that physical ability. That's the key. So if you want to learn more about working with us, feel free to click the links below. We'll teach you how to get deeper into flow state, how to set up all your routines so you can be the best player you can be and develop the fastest possible. And we will just do our best to help you. We only work with select players. We don't work with just anybody. So you have to apply, and we'll let you know if we think we can help, and we'll talk to you from there. All right. Hope you enjoyed. Comment below if you want any specific videos about specific topics, and I will talk to you soon.